I know what you're thinking. I need a phone and a hammer. Do I really have to buy two things? Maybe not. Find out in our review of the Kyocera Torque. Hey everybody, I'm Chris Wook. Now the Kyocera Torque trades top-of-the-line specs for being tough and waterproof, but how much does it sacrifice when it comes to the specs? Let's take a look. The Kyocera Torque runs a 1.2 GHz dual-core Qualcomm Snapdragon CPU, pushing a 4-inch WVGA display. It has 1 GB of RAM and a relatively small 4 GB of internal storage, though that is expandable by microSD. The rear-facing camera is 5 megapixels, while the front-facing camera is 1.2 megapixels. Power is supplied by a 2,500 mAh battery. The first thing you might notice about the Kyocera Torque is that someone seems to have encased it in a small truck. No, it's not the fanciest looking phone we've seen, but it is resistant to water, dust, salt, and pretty much everything else you can throw at it. Buttons are very sturdy as you'd expect, and all the ports are covered to further protect the device from the elements. Given the bulkiness, the Torque fits well in the hand, and for the most part, the buttons are logically placed and easily accessible. The Torque's display falls short of HD, but despite the resolution of 800 by 480, the screen looks relatively sharp with a pixel density of 233 pixels per inch. The small size of the display definitely works in the Torque's favor here. Text and images are well rendered, and colors are suitably well represented. No, this isn't the best display we've ever seen, but it is protected by Gorilla Glass in keeping with the phone's theme. Like a lot of other devices we've seen lately, the Torque runs a dual-core Snapdragon chipset, but performance isn't quite on par with other similarly spec'd devices we've seen. AnTuTu Benchmark produced an average score of 10,375 across 3 tests. Epic Citadel produced an average frame rate of 56 frames per second in high-quality mode and 57 frames per second in high-performance mode. While the benchmarks might have been a little lower than some other similar devices, real-world performance was decent. Scrolling through various screens was smooth, and though you might have trouble running top-of-the-line games, Temple Run 2 ran as smooth as ever during testing. Sadly, but not entirely surprisingly, the Kyocera Torque runs Android 4.0.4 Ice Cream Sandwich, though apparently there are plans to upgrade the device in the future. While this is a negative, the interface is very close to stock Android, which should no doubt make some users pretty happy. Only a few bits of bloatware were installed on my review unit, which was certainly a nice change of pace. Some of the more useful pre-installed software included the Flashlight app, Polaris Viewer, and Eco Mode, which aims to reduce battery usage. Pictures produced by the Torque's 5-megapixel camera are usable but unremarkable. While they were relatively sharp, colors seemed a bit on the washed out side. This happened both in sunlight and with indoor lighting. The 1080p video capture suffers from the same issues, though somewhat less so, probably due to the shorter exposure per frame. The video doesn't look too bad, though no image stabilization is present. Still, for a phone that focuses on being rugged, the camera is above average. Throughout heavy testing, the 2,500 mAh battery in the Torque held up admirably, remaining at about 65% capacity after 9.5 hours. The estimated talk time is around 19 hours, and after seeing how well it held up to almost 10 hours of benchmarking and other testing, it's easy to imagine this being the case. If the battery doesn't quite hold up to your needs, it is replaceable, which is always nice. Now really, the decision on whether or not the Kyocera Torque is for you is probably made the second you see it. Either you're the type of person who needs a phone that tough, or you're not. That said, the Torque is definitely one of the better options out there right now. Specs aren't bad, performance is decent, and it's all around a pretty good phone, especially for something so tough. If you want to know more, we have a written companion to this video at AndroidAuthority.com. You can find the link to the review in this video's description. Now we have new videos going up all the time, so if you want to make sure you don't miss a thing, make sure to subscribe to our channel. I'm Chris Wook for Android Authority, and as always, thank you for watching.